She said, "Why can't you dress like my friend's husband? He actually looks successful." I replied, "Makes sense." The next day, I matched his energy by asking for the same financial agreement he made his wife sign. When the attorney explained the consequences, the way she looked at me was, "I'm 36, and 2 weeks ago I thought I was in a normal relationship heading toward marriage. My girlfriend and I had been together for 3 years. We met at a mutual friend's party, started dating, moved in together after 18 months. She works in real estate, I work in tech. Both making decent money, splitting bills fairly, living comfortably in a nice apartment. The problems started showing up around 6 months ago. Little comments here and there about my appearance. You should get nicer shoes. That shirt is kind of worn out. Maybe invest in a better watch." I didn't think much of it initially. She was in real estate where appearances matter, so I figured she was just trying to be helpful. But the comments escalated. We'd be out with her friends, and she'd make remarks about other men's clothing. "See how sharp he looks? That's a real professional appearance." Always followed by a look at me that said I was falling short. I remember one specific incident about 4 months ago. We were at a networking event for her company. I wore what I thought was appropriate. Dark jeans, a blazer, dress shoes. Nothing fancy, but clean and professional enough for a casual industry mixer. She pulled me aside about 20 minutes in. "Why didn't you wear a suit? You said it was casual." Casual for real estate still means elevated. Look around. Everyone else understood that. I looked around. She was right. Most guys were in full suits, but some weren't. There were others in blazers like me. I'm not the only one dressed like this. "But you're with me. People are judging me based on how you present yourself." That stung. "So I'm embarrassing you?" "I didn't say that. I'm just saying you could put in more effort." We left early that night. She barely spoke to me on the drive home. When we got back to the apartment, she went straight to bed without saying goodnight. I stayed up, sitting in the living room, wondering when making an effort became not enough. Last month, she started comparing me directly to her friend's husband. This guy, I'll call him Mr. Success, apparently had it all figured out. Designer suits, expensive watch collection, luxury car. Her friend would post photos constantly, and my girlfriend would show me. "Look at how they present themselves. That's what success looks like." One Saturday morning, we were having coffee, and she was scrolling through social media. She turned her phone toward me. "Look at this. They went to that new restaurant downtown." I glanced at the photo. Mr. Success and his wife, dressed to the nines, sitting at what looked like an expensive steakhouse. "That's nice? Don't you want to go places like that?" "Sure. We can go if you want." It's not just about going. It's about being the kind of people who belong in places like that. What does that mean? It means looking the part, dressing appropriately, making an impression. I tried to have a conversation about it. I'm successful in my own way. I make good money. I'm stable. I contribute equally to our life together. She waved it off. It's not about the money. It's about how you present yourself to the world. But it was about the money, or at least about the appearance of having money. She wanted me to look like I was wealthy, even if it meant spending money we were saving for other things. I'd been putting away money for a down payment on a house, building an emergency fund, investing for retirement, practical things, but she wanted designer labels and luxury accessories. "You know how much a good watch costs?" I asked her once. $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for something that tells time worse than my phone. It's not about telling time. It's about signaling that you've made it. But I have made it. I have a good job, savings, no debt. Why do I need to signal anything to anyone? She looked at me like I was missing something fundamental. Because that's how the world works. People respect what they can see. I thought about that conversation a lot over the following weeks. The idea that respect was something you bought, that success was measured by visible displays rather than actual achievement. It bothered me more than I wanted to admit. The final straw came last Tuesday. We were getting ready for dinner with the same friends, the ones with Mr. Success. I came out wearing khakis and a button-down shirt, clean, presentable, appropriate for a casual dinner. She looked at me and sighed. Really? That's what you're wearing? What's wrong with it? Nothing if you're going to a parent-teacher conference. We're having dinner with successful people. These are your friends from college. This isn't a business meeting. She grabbed her purse, shaking her head. Why can't you dress like my friend's husband? He actually looks successful. Something in me just clicked. Not anger, more like clarity. Makes sense. She looked surprised. What? You're right. I should match his energy. All of it. Finally, thank you. We drove to the restaurant in silence. I could tell she was pleased with herself, thinking she'd finally gotten through to me. She kept glancing over at me with this small smile, like she'd won something. We went to dinner. Mr. Success was there in his designer everything, making sure everyone noticed. His watch caught the light every time he moved his hand. His suit was perfectly tailored, probably cost more than my monthly rent. His shoes were polished to a mirror shine. I was quiet most of the night, just observing. The way he interacted with his wife, there was this subtle dynamic where she'd defer to him on everything. What wine to order, which appetizers to get, even what she should order for her main course. She'd suggest something and look at him for approval. The salmon looks good, she said at one point. He glanced at the menu. The steak is better here, more impressive. Oh, okay, I'll get the steak then. It was subtle, but it was there. This constant performance of their relationship for everyone else at the table. At one point, I caught him alone getting drinks from the bar. I asked him straight up, "Can I ask you something personal? How do you and your wife handle finances?" He seemed happy someone asked. Guys like that love talking about their systems. We have a prenup, actually, more than that. We have a full financial agreement that governs everything. Her spending, my accounts, separate property, all of it. My attorney set it up before we got married. And she was okay with that? She wanted the lifestyle. This is the price. Works out well. I maintain control of my assets. She gets to enjoy the benefits. Everyone wins. What kind of specifics are in it? He warmed to the topic. Everything. She has a monthly allowance for personal expenses. I control the joint account. Any purchase over a certain amount requires my approval. If we divorce, she gets a predetermined amount based on length of marriage, nothing more. It protects what I've built. She signed that willingly? She signed it because she wanted the ring, the wedding, the lifestyle. You give women what they want, they'll agree to almost anything. The casual misogyny was gross but informative. This was the guy my girlfriend wanted me to emulate. I thanked him for his honesty and went back to the table. My girlfriend was glowing, in her element with these people. She kept touching my arm, smiling at me, clearly pleased I was finally getting it. On the drive home, she was chattier than she'd been in weeks. See? Isn't that better? Being around people who have their lives together? They seem very organized. They're successful. There's a difference between just making money and actually being successful. It's about the whole package. The whole package. Yes. The way you present yourself, the way you carry yourself, the way people perceive you. That's what success really is. I didn't argue. Just drove home, parked, went inside. She was still talking about the dinner, about how nice it was to be around quality people. I nodded along, already making plans for the next day. The next morning, I called an attorney. Not just any attorney. I found the guy who handles high net worth prenups and complex financial agreements. Had a consultation that afternoon. I explained the situation. My girlfriend wants me to present myself like Mr. Success. I want to make sure I'm protected if I'm going to play that game. The attorney listened and nodded. Smart. If she's fixated on appearances and lifestyle, you need protection. Let me draft something comprehensive. I want it exactly like what my girlfriend's friend's husband has, maybe more protective. I can do that. Give me 3 days. What's this going to cost me? Initial consultation and drafting, about 3,000. If she contests it or we need to negotiate, that's more. But the protection is worth it. I paid the retainer. Left his office feeling strange, like I'd just weaponized her own criticism against her. The agreement he drafted was thorough. Separate property for everything I currently owned. Any income I made went into accounts she couldn't access. She'd have an allowance for personal expenses. Generous, but capped. Any joint purchases required both signatures. If we divorced, she'd get a predetermined settlement based on length of marriage. Nothing from my assets acquired before or during the marriage beyond that settlement. No alimony, unless we were married over 10 years. It was exactly the kind of agreement a man who dresses in designer suits and drives a luxury car might have. The kind of agreement that protects wealth while allowing someone to enjoy the appearance of wealth. I read through every page carefully over the next 2 days. The attorney had included clauses about gift-giving. Anything I bought her remained my property unless explicitly transferred. Vacation expenses came from joint funds that I controlled. Even the engagement ring, if I bought one, would be considered a conditional gift returnable if the engagement ended. This seems harsh, I said during our follow-up call. This is what successful men with assets do, the attorney replied. You wanted to match that energy. This is it. This is how people who look successful actually operate behind the scenes. They protect themselves. What if she refuses to sign? Then you don't get married, simple as that. These agreements are only valid if both parties sign willingly. But here's the thing. Most people will sign if they want the marriage badly enough. The question is whether she wants you or wants the lifestyle. Friday evening, the attorney came to our apartment. I'd told my girlfriend we had an important meeting about our future. She thought I was finally taking her advice seriously, maybe about wedding planning or talking about upgrading our living situation. She'd even dressed up for it, put on a nice dress, did her makeup. I realized she thought this was going to be some kind of romantic evening. The attorney introduced himself and laid out the documents on our dining table. I've prepared a comprehensive financial agreement for you both to review before marriage. My girlfriend's smile faltered. What is this? This is me matching the energy you wanted, I said calmly. You want me to be like your friend's husband. He has his wife sign a financial agreement, so here's ours. She picked up the documents, started reading. Her face went through several expressions. Confusion, then shock, then anger. This is insane. I can't access your accounts? I get an allowance? Like a child? It's exactly what your friend has with her husband. You seem to think that relationship was ideal. The attorney stepped in, professional and calm. Ma'am, this is standard for individuals who want to protect assets while maintaining a certain lifestyle appearance. You'd have access to funds for personal expenses, joint expenses would be managed together, but individual assets remain protected. Protected from what? From me? Protected in case the relationship doesn't work out, I said. You wanted me to present myself as successful. Successful people protect their assets. This is what that looks like. This isn't romantic. This isn't partnership. Neither is constantly criticizing how I dress and comparing me to other men. Neither is making me feel like I'm not good enough unless I perform wealth for your friends. She looked at the attorney. And if I don't sign this? Then you don't get married, he said simply. That's how these agreements work. Both parties need to agree to the terms. She turned to me, and I could see her trying to figure out if I was bluffing. You're seriously saying you won't marry me unless I sign this? I'm saying if you want me to adopt the appearance and lifestyle you've been pushing for, this comes with it. You can't have one without the other. You wanted me to be more like him. This is what being like him actually means. The way she looked at me in that moment, I'll never forget it. It was like she was seeing me for the first time, not the version of me she'd been trying to create, but the actual me who was willing to call her bluff. I need time to think, she said finally. Take all the time you need. The agreement stands. Sign it, or we don't move forward. She grabbed her purse and keys. I'm staying at my friend's tonight. The one married to Mr. Success? Yes. Maybe she can help me understand what the hell you're trying to do here. I hope she does. I hope she tells you exactly what their arrangement is really like. She left. The attorney gathered his papers, clearly comfortable with how things had gone. That went about as expected. Most people don't actually want the reality of what they think they want. Think she'll sign? Not a chance. But you've made your point. You've shown her what it actually means to be the kind of man she kept comparing you to. Most women don't realize that the flashy lifestyle comes with strings attached. Control, boundaries, power dynamics. It's not romantic. It's transactional. After he left, I sat in the quiet apartment. Part of me felt bad. Part of me felt liberated. I'd called her bluff in the most direct way possible. She came back Sunday morning, looking like she hadn't slept well. I was making coffee when she walked in, still using her key. I talked to my friend. I poured 2 cups, handed her one. And? She said her husband's agreement is different, not as strict as this. I doubt that, but even if it's true, I'm not her husband. This is my agreement for my protection. She sat at the kitchen table, holding the coffee cup with both hands. So you don't trust me. You don't respect me. You've spent months telling me I'm not good enough, comparing me to other men, trying to change fundamental things about who I am. Trust goes both ways. I was just trying to help you improve. I don't need improvement. I need a partner who accepts me as I am. The agreement makes it clear that if you want the appearance of success, you accept the reality of it too. She was quiet for a long moment. What if I don't sign? Then we don't get married. Probably better that we realize that now rather than after a wedding. So, this is an ultimatum. You gave me ultimatums for months. Dress better, look more successful, be more like him. This is me responding in kind. She looked down at her coffee. I can't sign that. It makes me feel like property. It makes you feel like someone who has to live with boundaries and consequences. Welcome to how you've been making me feel for the past 6 months. She left that afternoon, took her stuff, moved out completely. Said she needed to think about whether she could be with someone who would treat her this way. I didn't stop her. Actually helped her carry boxes to her car. The whole time she kept saying things like, "You're being unreasonable," and "This isn't who you are." But it was exactly who I was. Someone with boundaries who refused to be molded into someone else's ideal. Someone who, when pushed to become something else, showed exactly what that something else actually looked like. Her friend's husband called me Tuesday evening. "Hey, I heard what happened. My wife told me about the agreement you drafted." "Yeah?" I wanted to say, that was brilliant. I don't actually have an agreement that's strict with my wife. I told you I did because, honestly, I was trying to impress you, trying to seem more in control than I am. You made that up? Most of it. We have a basic prenup, but nothing like what you described. I've been living beyond my means trying to maintain an image. I'm actually stressed all the time. So the designer suits, the car, leased, financed, drowning in debt to look successful. And your girlfriend, she held me up as some example. I felt like I had to live up to it. My wife and I fight about money constantly. She wants more. I can't provide it without going further into debt, so I do. And the cycle continues. I almost laughed. This is incredible. I'm sorry I contributed to the pressure she was putting on you. My wife does the same thing to me. Constantly wants more, better, newer. I can't keep up. But I keep trying because I'm afraid of what happens if I say no. Why not just say no? Because I'm weak. You're not. You drew a line. I respect that. After he hung up, I sat there thinking about how much effort people put into appearing successful while being miserable underneath. This guy was drowning in debt, stressed constantly, putting on a show for people who didn't actually care. And my girlfriend wanted me to do the same thing. My ex-girlfriend texted Wednesday morning, "Can we talk? Really talk?" We met for coffee that afternoon. Neutral ground. She'd clearly been crying. Her eyes were puffy, makeup minimal. She looked vulnerable in a way I hadn't seen in months. "I've been thinking about everything," she started. "And?" "You were right. I was treating you badly, trying to turn you into something you're not." "Okay." "But that agreement was cruel. It was meant to hurt me. It was meant to protect me while giving you exactly what you asked for. You wanted me to be like your friend's husband. I showed you what that actually looks like. You didn't like it. Because it's not about control and money. It's about what? About looking successful? You can't have the appearance without the reality. The reality is that men who present themselves that way also protect themselves that way. It's a package deal." She wiped her eyes. "So what now? Now we accept that we're not compatible. You want someone who performs success. I want someone who values substance over appearance." "I do value substance." "You spent months criticizing my appearance and comparing me to other men. That's not valuing substance. That's valuing image." She tried one more time. "Can we start over? Forget all of this happened?" "No. Because it did happen. You showed me what you value. I showed you what I'm willing to tolerate. Those things don't line up. I've changed. The last few days showed you that you don't like the consequences of what you were asking for. That's not the same as changing." We sat there for a while longer, but there wasn't much left to say. She left eventually, and I haven't heard from her since. A few days later, her friend, the one married to Mr. Success, called me. "I owe you an apology. My husband told me what he said to you, about our finances. He lied. We're in debt, bad debt. I pushed him to maintain an image I thought was important. We're in therapy now, trying to fix it before we lose everything. I'm sorry you're going through that." "Don't be. We did it to ourselves, and I pushed your girlfriend to push you. I was living vicariously through her, wanting her to have what I thought I had. But I don't have it. I have debt and a stressed husband and a marriage that's falling apart. I hope therapy helps. Your ex, my friend, she's telling everyone you were controlling, that you tried to trap her with a legal agreement. People can believe what they want. For what it's worth, I saw the way she treated you. You did the right thing. Better to find out now than after you're married. It's been 2 weeks since everything happened. I'm still in the same apartment, still dressing the same way, still living within my means. I haven't heard from my ex. Through mutual friends, I heard she's dating someone new, someone who apparently dresses well and drives a nice car. Good for her. I hope she finds what she's looking for. I'm 36, single, and apparently I dodged a bullet by calling someone's bluff. The attorney still has the agreement on file. He joked that I should keep it as a template. Any woman who demands you change your appearance to match some image should sign that agreement. It's a good filter. He's probably right. Not that I'm looking to use it again, but it's good to know what I'm worth and what I won't tolerate. The funniest part? I could afford to dress like Mr. Success if I wanted to. I have savings, investments, no debt. I just choose not to waste money on appearance. That's apparently what made her most angry. Not that I couldn't match her standards, but that I wouldn't. And that difference, between can't and won't, that's everything.